Currently, we are losing 14 lives a day to drug overdoses just in the state of Ohio.
There's estimates that say there's 22 to 25 million people who are actively addicted. Less than 10% of them seek treatment. It is clear. We are looking at an addiction culture. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that at this point. Everybody wants to fix it, and we've all tried, and we're failing.
Yet, the stigma of addiction causes people to hide their disease, not seek treatment, blame themselves, and more than anything, it alienates them.
The scary part of that to me at this point is that I learned to embrace being an addict and a failure.
Based on the public's stigma that they have surrounding addiction, it just felt like something I wasn't willing to share in that realm of my life, so I didn't. I stayed silent.
The quicker a person receives some form of treatment, the better the chance is that that person will reach long-term recovery.
But when I hear all this stigma and when I see all this stigma, I see that as like one of our biggest barriers.
As a man, I believed you had to be weak to go to treatment.
The sooner we start dealing with addiction as a chronic medical condition, the better the outcomes will be for everyone.
If we were all really honest with each other about each other, you would be surprised at how many people sitting around that boardroom table, or sitting around the lunchroom with you at work when you eat with your coworkers, or the soccer moms on Saturday mornings on the sidelines. How many of us are actually dealing with this problem of addiction, whether it's their children, their husbands, or a problem that they're struggling with themselves? There are more of us out there than any of us believe. We're just not talking to each other about it, and we're not helping each other. We're not helping each other like we should be.
Addiction does not care how smart you are, how strong you are, how frustrated you are, how many people love you. You just have to be human. There isn't an amount of willpower that can fight a damaged brain from drug use.
The solution is always in the opposite. So if we have an addiction culture and we're caught up with treatments that aren't working well enough and corrections that aren't working well enough and the results aren't happening, then we should really look at what's the opposite of that. In order to eliminate or reduce an addiction culture, we have to grow, foster, and support a recovery culture. And quite honestly, the evidence does show that we get clean in our own communities. If we want to reduce an addiction culture and grow a recovery culture, then we've just got to look at a little bit closer how we can get better with stigma. And that's how we choose our words and how we become aware of our own judgments and our own prejudices.
I mean, I was on the front page of the paper for selling heroin. Everyone in my family knew I had a problem with addiction. But because they love me and they want to continue to hold on to this stigma that goes with addiction, she even refused to see me as someone in recovery. And that's when I realized I kind of had to be more outspoken about my own recovery and share my own story, because there's power in that, and that can change people's lives.
There's a great, beautiful life out in front of you. And I believe that an important part of breaking the stigma in addiction is that people like myself share our stories with each other, so that those that are struggling today can look and say, hey, that's what I want.
So for me, it was, I really wanted to break that cycle.
When you talk about these people, you're talking about me. And she texted back, whoa, wow, Jess, I don't think of you that way. We don't think of you that way. And I texted back, and that is the problem.